Oh, hello there, beautiful people. Brian Brushwood here with another behind-the-scenes commentary for Scam School episode number 264. Dan Martin versus the, Star Challenge, I think we titled it. That's something you should know right up front, is the title's very last-minute affair. But before that, you should know that I'm going to be drinking, looks like a Lagunitas Wilco Tango Foxtrot. This is like a limited edition ale, and the bottle is freaking huge. It's as big as my skull. So rather than drink from that, I'm going to be rocking the Brian Brushwood pint glass, of course, available at scamstuff.com. And you should know that 100% of the proceeds from scamstuff.com go to feeding my children and paying for their college or making a buck out of Scam School somehow. All right, so people are asking me where I get my t-shirts, this particular one, and I don't know what it is about me. I'm a grown-ass man, but for some reason I'm obsessed with the idea of wearing hilarious shirts with unicorns on them. That particular shirt came from a place called Parts and Labor down on South Congress in Austin, Texas. The one I'm wearing right now, you probably have seen a whole bunch of these designs. This is Rob Dobby at fullbleed.org. He has a whole bunch of like environmental and destruction industrial designs all put in there, which I really dig. This is another episode that was there with the night that Dan Martin joined us. I mentioned before that we shot 6 episodes that particular night. You probably noticed, a bunch of these are outdoors. This is a nice outdoor venue, and it's convenient that the Moon Tower, it just happened to be really gorgeous during those days, but we've done a lot of episodes at the Moon Tower. I'm looking forward to shooting at different locations. The stand-ups we usually do on 6th Street just because there's so much awesome scenery in the background, but looking forward to getting a little more variety in these shoots. So the thing is, this particular challenge, one of the problems with all of the puzzle tricks on Scam School, and I'm sure it's the same for you guys as it is for me, is that when people send it in, they say, this is the best trick ever. Nobody's ever solved this before. And you look at it, and for me, a lot of them, because I sort of make a full-time job of this. A lot of them I can solve pretty fast just because once you speak the languages of puzzles, there's a few key features that you notice over and over and over again. But some of them, I'll get up to 30 seconds or maybe even a minute, I'll give up, and then I'll look at the answer, and then I'll go I would have gotten it if I looked far enough, which is the whole problem with puzzles in general, because everybody, when they get the answers, they just say, I would have gotten it if I just gave it more time. So that's part of the reason that I encourage you guys to actually try this, and do not give up the answer lightly. On Scam School, I do after a little bit, but the longer the value people have towards the puzzle itself is directly proportional to how long and how miserable it's been for them working on it over and over and over again. And this is a point that we made all the way back in the first puzzle that we ever taught on Scam School, the 4/4 puzzle. And I mean it. So in this case, like this puzzle, we went in totally cold. I assumed it would fool people because the guy seemed pretty adamant about it, but if it didn't, that's the nice thing about Scam School is we want it to be honest. So if something gets screwed up, then we turn it into a lesson about how, hey, it doesn't always work, but when it does, you get free beer, that kind of thing. And that's how I make sure to talk in Scam School, because it's a show about social engineering at the bar and on the street. So in this case, I was really happy that that not only did it fool the chicks, but Dan Martin as well. You're also about to see a Dan Martin original effect, one that he tells me he's been doing for 13 years now. And some people I notice in the comments already are like, I bet I can figure out that coin trick that Dan Martin's doing. That's not the point, guys, because we got this with the 3-coin trick as well. If what you want to do is know how it's done, then just gossip and figure it out. But knowing how it's done is not the same thing as being taught. And I mean this sincerely. For the 3-coin trick especially, and also with Dan Martin's trick, if you think you know how it's done, that means you understand the mechanics of the joke. That's like saying, I know how you play the piano. Oh yeah, how? You press a key and it hits a hammer that triggers and it slams into a perfectly tuned set of strings and it produces particular tones. It's pretty obvious. I don't need your course. I figured it out. I watched the way you played that piano, and I sort of watched it, so now I know how it's done. You're an asshole if that's how you are. So understand, Dan really blew me away with the subtle nuances and the clever things he added for this routine. And we had special guest Eric Diddleman in studio as well, so that was fun. Now, in this case, there was a brief moment that I was terrified that they were actually going to get this thing figured out. Luckily, they did not.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wait. It was really close.
Yeah, and in fact, we didn't put it in here because it sort of got muddied. I ended up cutting it. But usually, we do our best to try to edit everything so it's smooth. But oftentimes, obviously we're cutting out all the times to reset. There's no way I could reset everything so fast. And in one case, they did one thing where it looked like they got 10, but it was very clear that they had kind of like this bendy edge to one of them. And so you'll notice at the end of this, I say, I'm going to give you the answer that you could do with a straight edge, which sounds a little bit weird out of context. But when you see here, I'd like to know from you guys. Maybe you could I've got a question for you guys, and put it in the comments down below. How often on these puzzle episodes do you actually pause the video and give it a try? And how long do you go? Because I got a tweet. Somebody tweeted me today saying I paused the video for Petals Around the Rose for 2 full hours and worked as hard as I could, and I couldn't figure it out. And then I played it, and I hate you, Brushwood, which was kind of awesome. This is like a weird moment. I'm going to say something that's going to sound ridiculous to you guys, but people will seek me out on Twitter just to ask where they can send in an idea for a Scam School episode. And I'm genuinely puzzled by this, because you'll notice at the end of every single one of these episodes, I give my email address, and it's my actual email address. I used to give the Revision 3 one, but now I'm just giving the Brian@schwood.com. That is what's on my business cards. This is what's on my my website. It is genuinely the only email address I check, and I've given it out over 260 times, and people are still like, where should we send in the thing? Is that a case where we're like it's just sort of like you don't believe it, even though you hear me saying like, write me at this address? Like they're like, no way, Brian really reads that. Is that what it is? Or also in the comments, tell me whether or not you follow me on Twitter, or if not Twitter, some other social service, because man, I'm putting out some really interesting stuff on some of the social media, and I'd hate for you guys to miss it.
Now, when you go through any of these bottom ones, you undo those triangles.
That's the other thing about these puzzle tricks. Once you know the solution for it, they don't really, those episodes, you don't really have a lot of repeat viewing value to it, because at that point, it's like you just know, and you're just waiting to the part with the solution. For example, like me having seen this like 8 times, and I see these a lot. They send me a rough cut. We make notes on the rough cut. They send me a fine cut. We make adjustments on that. Then we got the final cut that goes up. And it's like this every week.
I don't know if you guys know this.
So I end up watching these a lot.
Almost screwed up the trick for you by offering such awesomely bad advice. Is actually one of the foremost touring magicians in America.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we're going to be performing together, Dan Martin and I, at Clarkson University in New York. I know I fly into Albany the day before, but Clarkson University in New York, we're going to be there later this month, late April. Hit me up on email if you want to come out to that show. I'll see what I can do to get you guys out there. But it's me, Dan Martin, and Nate Staniforth. Now, here's the thing. The difference between knowing how a trick is done and learning a routine from somebody who's perfected it. Remember, he's done this for 13 years. So he has all of these beats, the script and stuff, and you can see it in the way people react. He's got this moment of building up tension and then releasing it. People are clearly having a good time. And to me, the fact that he was able to involve more senses, the more senses you can involve in your magic, the better it's going to be. It's one thing to have something visually, disappear or appear, but if you can, get the tingling sound, and we talked about this in the 3-coin trick, but in this one, like the fact that they feel the coin on there, and then when you put it on and they feel off, they no longer feel the coin on there, and that moment when it gets blown off, like it gets these genuine, the reactions are fantastic. It's very, very good. Especially, like, that guy really made me happy. It's a tight, solid routine, and there's 2 ways to do it. There's a gimmicked way and an ungimmicked way. The ungimmicked way you can do totally impromptu anytime, and he walks through the subtleties for that. The gimmicked way is easier, but requires some special apparatus that we have at scamstuff.com. Man, I didn't mean to turn this all into a giant ad of Scam Stuff. Let's see, what else we got? I think I'm going to take a break from that belt buckle. There, how's that for an insider scoop? I actually, it's starting to, it's made of like ABS plastic, or injection molding plastic, and some of the stuff is starting to rub off on it. Oh, I'll tell you what, also in the comments, why don't you guys tell me what you would like to see on Scam Stuff Extra Credit episodes? because we have a lot more freedom on Extra Credit. We, of course, it has to be original material or stuff that's that we don't want to take other magicians' routines, of course. But if you have any suggestions of stuff you've seen me perform in the past that you'd like me to show on Extra Credit, I'd be happy to do that. In fact, I'm going to record a whole nother batch of those. Those are a lot of fun to do. At Brian@Schwood.com. That's the address. See? That address that I give, that's where you should write me, because I really will read it. But you'll probably get me a faster response on Twitter. I love the Drunken Nut Crunch. That's all Brant Hughes who put that together on there. All right, guys. This is a short and sweet one. Not a lot to say about it, but I hope you guys enjoy these behind the scenes. If you have any suggestions on future episodes, go ahead and make sure to let me know. You guys are looking tall and handsome as always, and I'm going to go back to drinking my Wilco Tango Foxtrot. So, see you later. Ooh, I know what I'm going to tell you guys next week. This is going to be good. I'll see you guys. Bye.